if everybody's looking at it, then you'll be able to understand the commentary I'm making. Certainly, I would expect Cara to be listening to it,
Yes.
since it's her work I'm looking at right now. Wait, wasn't the board at 20 px in the pre-code of the test?
Yeah.
Anyhow, oh, that's what you
So
did now. No,
it's huge when I did
it's all
20.
right. It's all right. We'll get to why you fiddle with the numbers. But anyway, do you think you understand what the VH stands for? That was some new code that was given to allow it to help to reproduce a test like I had it. But do you think you understand what the VH actually represents?
No, not entirely.
Well, partially.
Yeah. It's something similar to the PX, I think.
Okay, so let me put this one here back to 50. It actually affects the view of the screen. So you can think of it as video height, but it's really called viewport. But I like to think of it as being saying video height. So in other words, if it's a phone, the web page was being displayed on, it would
Mm-hmm.
it would display half of the screen size. So if you use pixels, the problem with pixels is that Nisha, you have to listen, pay attention. You might get distracted and you might not get what I'm saying. The difference with the VH or viewport height, as they call it, is that the pixels are specific. So obviously a laptop would have more pixels it can display than a phone. Anybody knows why? A very simple reason.
It's larger. The screen display is larger.
Exactly. Larger screen display means that you will have more pixels because the pixels are really all the dots that can make up an image. All right, let me share my screen because that would be you'll be able to see that easily. Since I have your code now, Cara,
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen.
So stop sharing.
Alrighty. All right, the screen sharing should have started. Can almost know exactly when Vindel comes on. Never have his mic muted. Wonder why your screen share is not showing. All right, let me try to start it again. All right, let me know if
When
you
are
can
you
see the
serious,
screen
Sensei?
share.
When are you used to it?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, it's sharing.
Okay. All right, so as you can see, when I change the view height to 50, you see that the border goes around the apple because we're using 50% now, not pixels. So I mean the height is still 60 by 60, so we're using 60% of the height, sorry, 50 of the height and 60 of the width. So let me say we use 100% of the width. Let's see what that would look like, right? Everybody following me? Everybody following?
Yes, sir.
All right, and that's why I'm saying that when you get code, you must play around it because that's how you see what it does, right? Actually, type 601 a while ago by accident, and you see how broad it got. So right away you can see that. So now it's you. Go back to the one. It's some update. Just a second. Um. Okay, it's not moving again. Okay, it's not moving now. Wait, something is missing now. Missing something here. What is it? What is it? I'm missing something here. What went wrong? Hold on a little second there. Cara. Alison might that, you know. Okay. Cara.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, apart from the fact that I was changing the view height, I'm looking at your code and I'm trying to figure out how you structure it like this. Um, I don't see anywhere, there's no style tags. All right. So here's the deal now. By now, you probably realize that the more efficient way to style it is to style it in the head area in the style tags. Because when you do inline styling, you have to do them individually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's you can get away with that if it's just a few elements you have, but when you have a lot of them, that wouldn't make sense. So the first thing you don't want to do in your head area is that you don't want to have your style tag. Let me just take out the title forward. I mean, the title can help, but it's not really crucial for this example.
Okay.
Well, I don't need to take it out. I can just put a space and what did I just take it out? Um, so and the way you type the code helps you to read it better. So when you indent your code, it's better for you in the future. So you need your style tags because we're styling the code by using embedded styling. When we do it directly in the elements, so for example, when we put the style directly in the H1, directly in a div, directly in a paragraph, that's called inline. But when we do it in the head area with the style tags, that's called embedded. So it will control the entire page. Anyway,
Oh,
so the first thing you'd have wanted to do is put in your style tag. You wouldn't even ask that question. You'd just go ahead and put in this first without even thinking. Because while you can style it inline, but that's not the way you control multiple elements at the same time, right?
mm-hmm.
So I need you to understand why we don't do it inline. So what you did, you took some of the code, but you did it a different way. Um, trying to figure out how is it that you. All right, let's all right. The first. Okay, so after we put in, so here's how we do it step by steps in a sense. Look like my internet not working so well. Um, Not sure I can help her with that. Let me see. Let me just all right, let me go to your body area and see what is going on here. Where does your body area start? Oh, because you have the. All right, I'm gonna have to check out this in so I can kind of concentrate on what's going on here. Okay, so all right, remember for the code pen, you don't need the doc type in it. You just need the part that would go inside the body. Understand that you'd have the other things in a full-blown file if you're using it on a computer or something, right? All right, you'd have the other. That's when you'd put in the doc type and stuff. Okay. Having said all of that, and you would need the HTML either, but CodePen will still allow you to have it and it will run. All right, but the body starts here, and let me just make sure there's a closing body. There's not a closing body. All right. Um, so you would need a closing body, right? You don't need a body in this HTML section in CodePen, but since you did start with the body, it makes sense for you to be consistent and close it. All right, so No, there's no problem if you use the tags, but you have to use them completely. So if you're doing it for the purpose of testing, you don't have to have the body tag, but it helps to be consistent with it. All right, so we have the body tag now. We have the, let's see where you put the image. You put the image. Let me just expand this a bit. I like when everything is in one line. I don't like when it wraps around too much. Okay, great. All right, so you have the image there for, you have a link there for benefits of pineapple. What? Okay, so that's what that link points to. Um, Image source, right, and then the image. All right, so you notice what you have here. What was the height of the image that I gave in the code snippet? Hmm?
It
What was the height?
was just
What
a
was
sec.
it?
I think it was 120. I'm trying to go back to the message. It was 100.
Yeah, so you have 80 pixels here and 80 pixels. How come?
Because it big the other way when I did it in code editor.
Anyways, point is it's not supposed to be 80, and we're not going to be using the embedded, the inline style, which is what you're doing here, right? When we just
Okay.
started out, that's what we did when we were learning the elements one by one. That's what we did, but we're doing it in an embedded style instead of inline style. Okay, I'm just going to repeat those terms so that people will get familiar with it. That if in case you're wondering why I keep stressing it so much, is so that people get used to the terms. What is this fig caption thing here? I don't get this.
The figure caption. That is how I got the words to go on the image somewhat.
Okay, I've never used this before, but I mean, it would be interesting to figure out if this is something they plan to phase out or so, because HTML is an evolving language. They're at version 5 now, and it's been at version 5 for a while, but within version 5, there have been lots of updates. Anyhow, our image is gone. You can easily add the words later. There are a couple things that I thought you would have done. All right, so let's see. And by the way, those of you who are watching me, based on what I'm doing with Cara, you will know that what to fix in yours as well, because I literally don't expect to go through everybody's one by one, because most of you are going to have the same kind of mistakes. All right, so let me preserve this web address by copying it. 1 second there. All right, there also the image is actually there, but it's just that it's massive, so everybody can see there's a giant pineapple here. All right. But here's how you would fix the problem with the images if you had used the embedded style. All right, so you're watching me now, Cara?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, when you use the embedded styling that is in the head area, it's gonna have a global effect. It can do multiple things at once. So this is where you should have put the code I gave you. So we want to affect what type of element right now, Cara? Which element we want
So
to
repeat
change? Which one of the elements we want to affect right now? We want to change
the image, the pixels.
the image, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do I type to start the styling?
Image, img.
All right. And there's no dot or anything like that because it's just what we want to do to any image. There's no class being applied to it or anything, okay?
Yes, sir.
Um, you apply a class when you want to single out something or a group of things. Anyhow, so what was it again? Height 100 px. All right. So you notice that they change all the images one time. Notice that? Why Cara
Sir,
mic muted and
yes.
is Cara up now? Why are you muting your mic for?
Oh, no, it's mistakes, sir.
All right. So yeah, because that's what because so notice that you would have so you had to type in this 3 times. You did it for the pineapple image, you did it for the mango image. So you see I just use one section of code there and affect all the images. So all of what you're doing here, one by one, you wouldn't do that. So you have to check out this again. So one code does all of what I am doing here now and removing now. So you understand the reason for that now. Clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the images are manageable now. That was something that was bothering you. But I showed you that if you could have easily managed it just by doing that. All right. So the next thing we want to look at now. So we have the images, but for some reason the mango is beside the pineapple. Why isn't the apple also beside? Let's see what's going on here. Oh, you have this fig caption thing here. Let's get rid of these things. And I don't know if this is a block element that pushes things down or if it's an inline element. Um. Oh, okay,
No, no.
okay. So that was affecting it. That
Okay.
was definitely affecting it. All right. Okay. By the way, you saw that I did post a solution to the test. Did you go through it?
I put it in code editor and look at it, but it looked weird.
It looked weird.
It
As
doesn't
long
look
as you
like
look,
a code.
as long as you look at it, that's all I want to know. All right. So we have our images there, and that's pretty much. So one of the ways you could start the test is by getting the images first, and then you try to fix up everything afterwards, which is not a bad idea. Okay, but we did have another bit of styling. What was that styling that we had?
The border.
No, 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 no. Don't start by telling me just border. What were we styling exactly? Can you guess what we were styling?
No. No,
All
sir.
right, in the method that I did it in, what were we styling with the with the border and the view? What actually? Because almost anything can have a border, but what were we styling exactly? What we were given a red border.
Sir.
Anybody have it written down in their book, in their notebook?
I have it printed, that's why.
Um,
Um, style, the type, no. Sure,
the
me
what?
don't know. I'm not too sure. Style mean boy display flex.
Are you looking at the
Sure.
code snippet? I don't want to move
Yes.
my screen share. Can somebody paste that section from the solution I posted earlier? It's I know it's a div, but I'm trying to remember. I think I called it main. I think I called my div
Oh,
main. You can use whatever name you want, but
I
can
see
somebody paste
style.
that?
That
Can somebody
mean
paste that code? That's that section there with the styling, not the whole solution, just the part where I had the main div styling. Anybody can do that for us. Um, I'm just waiting for somebody to paste it in the chat. All right, so here's the idea now, right? There are many ways you can do a alignment of something, but you have to do it based on where your elements are. Now, where are the images inside of? Which tag are they inside of? Immediately inside of. Oh, you give me the whole code. I just wanted the top part. I didn't want to push down so much. Let me scroll up. Let me scroll up. Um, I just wanted the part with the style in the style tags. Right. So wait. What? Amaya pasted something here. What is? Amaya something totally different. All right. So here's what I'm saying. We can just work with it from here. No problem. I just wanted to understand what exactly we are doing. Now, where are these images inside of? What tag are the images inside of? The elements, the entire elements, all these three images. What are they? What tag are they inside of directly? Anybody can answer this. I listen. Anybody? Amaya, anybody? Nisha, anybody? I wonder if they can hear me, by the way.
Is it the no, that is the header, sorry. Looking at it again.
All right. What tags immediately surround the images? Let me put it that way. Remember now, we're not talking about the A tags that have the elements, because that's a part of the element. When we talk about an element, it includes the tag, whether P or H or whatever, the content in between it, and the closing tag. So considering everything that allows you to see the image on the screen, from the anchor tag to the end of the angle bracket. What are those images inside of immediately? What tags surround them, like the sandwich? The body tags, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
I don't hear nobody responding. Yeah, because there are no other tags around them, but the body tag is the next tag around it. So the body is going to be acting as the parent in this case, right? And they are sub to the body. Okay, if I had a div now, then the images would be inside the div and the images would be sub to the div and the div would be the parent. But let us say we want to work with it as it is here. So you see what I'm going to do with the body? I'm going to style the body. Remember, you can style any element, right? So let's go up back to the styling. And what would we type here now? To get a border, what would we type? What are we styling?
The body.
You type body because the body is styling. You're still thinking too hard. I just mentioned to you a while ago that the images are inside of the body, right? So if we're going to get the border to cover all the images, we have to apply the border to where all the images are sitting inside of, right? So you have to, that's why you have to start thinking. You have to start thinking that this is like a layout. It's not just some random code and yeah, guess and spell, try to figure out some maths, you know. It's actually like a layout. It's like like a plan, like a blueprint, building blocks, whatever you want to use to describe it. They all sit on top of something, on top of something, on top of something. So all the images right now are directly in the body because we have no div. If we had a div, that wouldn't be the case. But we're working with the code that Kara has minus the deletions are made because she had inline editing, styling the images and all that kind of stuff, which is not the way you want to do it. Okay, so the reason why I'm using the body to style it is because she doesn't use any divs. Okay, fine. Let's do that same way. So we're going to apply the border just the same. All right. All right, you see what happened a while ago, Kara?
Yes, sir.
Kara, cook your cooking or something?
Yes, sir. I'm doing more than one thing at once.
Then why no man, then you not tell me that, man, because you keep me having a call out to you and I wait. If you tell me say you was doing something now, then I would expect a delay. You
Okay.
understand? Yeah, you
Yeah.
must just let me know that you're busy or something, man. All right. So, but you have to kind of pay attention because you need to know what's going on.
Yes, Mr. No, first.
All right. So, um, Vindel, you can mute yourself. Oh, Kara mute already. Vindel. Hello, Vindel. People look like them asleep. Alison, moving on. Alison.
Hello.
I'm not finished with you now. I'm not finished with your thing yet,
Yes,
Kara. I'm just
yes,
asking
sir.
questions of other persons. What you know now, man? Vindel, you just wait, because you lose your turn. You take too long to answer. You're supposed to be in front of the mic. All right. All right. Do you understand why I'm styling the body and not a div?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Let's see.
Answer is simple, Alison. I don't have a div to style. That's why I'm styling the body. Yeah, you get me now?
Yes, sir.
You understand, Carl?
Yes, sir. Kind of at least.
Okay. And watch how I'm going to get them to be centered with the display, using the display flex, because Flexbox is the modern way. I think it was let me tell you, man. One of you used text align. Trying to remember who it was. I'll soon tell you who it was. It was Ashley. I think I remember Ashley did it. No, that would work, but you have to understand that that's not the modern way to do things now, or not the efficient way. Everything now is Flexbox. That's why I introduced you the display flex. It's Flexbox around the place now, so you can do. I mean, apart from the fact that it does everything you need to, it's not just that it's modern and it's the latest. It's really the neater way to do everything. All right. So don't bother using align text again for this kind of thing for aligning positioning things on the screen. All right. So I'm just telling you that ahead of time. Although I'm not looking at anybody's code that use the align text, but maybe if we get a chance, we'll get to look at Ashley, and then we can comment on using that because I don't think she used the display flex which I supplied, and there's a reason why I gave it, because I'm trying to one expose it to it using it more and more, because that is the way that you do things now, right? As I said before, it around the place. Makes your web pages responsive, mean that they work on any device, tablet or computer, and also it's really the more efficient way to go. Anyway, having said that, let me go ahead and put in that code snippet that I gave you. So display flex activates the flex box. That's what it does straight up, right? And you don't see any change there because it's just activating the flex box. But when you do that, um, you can now use the different values and sorry, justified dash. You can use the different attributes and values to make some very interesting things happen. So I was hoping that person would have, once I posted the answer for the test, you'd have gone and you'd have started researching, more about some of the different values that you can have. So you can justify content by doing what? You can space evenly. Um, you can do start. I'm just giving you a couple of them. You can do end. Okay, that doesn't work as I thought. Space. Let me go back to spacing. I'm just gonna finish the test first before I go any further in this. Sorry. Keyboard, come on, keyboard. All right. Space evenly, right? But I gave you this code here because I know you wouldn't be familiar with necessarily the best one that would give it this centered plus give it space around it. But justify content, you could actually go here. If it was one element, you could go here and you could go center. You could do that, for example, right? But we don't want to do that because they're bunched together. You notice that?
Yes, sir.
You can just type yes, other people. So center would get it in the center, but it would bunch them together. But because Flexbox is so versatile, it has this option that says space evenly. So that's why I'm saying it is really the way to go, because with just saying space evenly, you don't have to be fooling around with no pixels or anything like that. Now notice something here also. When I apply the Flexbox to the body, it affects how the images are aligned. You notice that, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
You notice that? Even though it is, look here, is in the body area I'm styling, You realize that? No, I'm not doing anything that talks about images, The style that applied to images was up here with the height. But what I'm doing here is that I'm changing the spacing, how the spacing flows in the body. And because the images are inside the body, that's why they're aligned like that, spaced out evenly. And I did use it, so it is in there, Ashley says. Okay, I think I saw a post in the first post of the test. Anyway, it's fine. Because I'm going to go through and explain why it is that I gave you those code snippets and what you were expected to use, okay? All right, so as I said before, this is the efficient way. You use a styling in the head area in this example. You don't put the styling directly in the images because you have to do it one-one, and that's tedious. Neither would you want to do it one-one for the other element. Okay, but we still need the words. We need the words pineapple and such. So because the pineapple is the first one, then we would put the words. In my example, I use a H2, but if you use a H1, it wouldn't be a problem. It's just that I didn't want it to be the biggest size. That's why I used H2. All right? So it's not that if you use H3, it would have been wrong or right. You could have used H4, H5, H6. I mean, H6 would have been too small to see, so for obvious reasons, you probably wouldn't use that. But I figured that H2 was good enough, all right? So now we can add the words. Then what, mango? All right, so H2 again. Mango. Some people really need to sleep. Sorry about that. H2, mango. By the way, do you guys realize that the header elements, they push things down because they're a block type? They don't need a break line. You guys realize that the only reason why it's side by side is because of the flex box, you know. So for example, let me turn off the flex box by removing this and just show you what I mean. You see there?
Yes.
The reason why that happens is because the header tags and the other tags are block level, so they're always going to start on a new line. Right? That's why you don't need a break line for them. So let me put back the flex, activate back the flex box. And then we have Apple, of course. That's the last label. So pretty much putting the labels and the images is the easy part because you just need to copy the image link, put in the words after the image. That's not really the hard part. The harder part would probably be how to get the flex box. I say harder part, relatively speaking. Anyways, let's put in this H2 here. Apple /H2. As I said, you could have used H3, H1, it doesn't matter, but obviously you wouldn't use a small one, it would be hard to read. And then, of course, making it into a link, you guys know that it's a matter of you having the anchor tag. Right, so that part is pretty straightforward. All right, this will take me. And when I click on these, I'm just looking at when I move the mouse over it, in the bottom left corner here, I can see what web page it would take me to. So I don't have to click it to see that it actually it would link to somewhere, right? Okay, guys?
Yes, sir. Sir, how you get the words to be directly under the image? You notice that
No, it's because everything. Remember, we're in the body, you know. That's why I try to tell you, you know. What did I say? I go ask let's see who paying attention. I go ask somebody else this question. Tonian, unmute your mic.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she's asking how I get the words to be under the images. Can you tell me why the words are under the images when I actually didn't do anything to the styling of the H2? I just typed the H2 on the word. I didn't put no styling in. Can you tell me why?
Because it was already styled from in the body section at the well, yeah, it was already styled at the top in the body tag.
You're using some of the right words, but you're not explaining it properly. So remember I said that before that the body, if you look at the body here, all of the elements, both the image, Because remember, the element is separate, is one thing by itself. The image element is one element which includes everything from the A tag go right down to the last bracket. And the other elements include the H tags, right? They are all inside of the body. Okay? They're all inside of the body. And because they're all inside of the body, what you want to change is how they are aligned inside the body. All right, let me play around a few more things and show you what's going on here. First of all, let me adjust the FLEXBOX to have oh, I just realized that I had not in speaking to you here, 1 second, because I was really focusing on, okay, this code that after it's a long code because a lot of images in a lot of your image link was very long. I think it's Amoya, Ashley, or whoever typed this. I'm trying to get back to the code snippets, so sorry there, just bear with me. 1 second. Okay, right. So I had a 50 view height. I forgot about that part. All right, that's what I was trying to remember. I know I left also. All right, so let me add that in here and show you what so you can consider the VH to be the video height, but technically they call it viewport height. Now notice that the box is a little bigger, so it's using half of the screen area over there. So if I typed 100, what do you expect would happen? It goes around the entire thing, right? Because the 100 would represent 100% there, right? You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right, so that's that. I'm just showing you that what we're affecting right here is the body area. Okay, good. So in using Flexbox, you're styling the element that you're using as the parent, and because the body is the only parent for these elements we're using. Now, when I use a div now, because I'm just in the habit of using divs because they're really the streamlined way to do things. All right. So let me use that approach now. Right. So here's how we do it in that. Oh, I shouldn't take that out. You know, I should let that stay. Cause we can still use that. And let me take out body from here. All right. So as you can see, what I did was that the first thing I did when I started the coding, right? Before I did any of these things, I created the divs. Because I know I have 3 images, so I made 3 divs. So I did something like this. I came like this and I said div, and then I created a closed one before I even put anything inside them, right? Because I know I wanted to have 3 groupings, right? Mind you, it's not that it was 100% that you had to put these around, but again, it was just my way of organizing and grouping the stuff, right? As I said, there's no one way to do a web site, but there are ways that are not tidy and that are also not efficient if it does work. So this is what I did at first, because remember, in future you always have to future proof yourself. You don't want to have to come back a month, 2 months later and be adding divs to things. If you think something may need to be styled in the future, group it. All right, so even if you don't directly use there, so but the point I'm making is that, so I had these 3 pairs of divs, right? But I had 3 pairs of divs, but I had a parent div as well. Okay, because I didn't want to affect the styling of the body. So I had a big daddy div, you could say then, and these were the children, right? Following me, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why you think, why, all right, I have 3 divs already. Why would I need a 4th div? Let me see who is paying attention. Why would I need a 4th div? You know that I put a 4th one in there, but why would I need it? I technically don't need it, but why did I use it?
The big one, sir?
Why did I use the, all right, the fourth div which goes around all of these divs, why did I use that? Because we know that each of these divs is going to hold the image, right? I soon paste it in them. So what this fourth div here for that's surrounding all these divs? Why do I have divs inside of a div?
To keep the divs grouped so it don't mess with the rest, I think.
They wouldn't mess with anything. What are they gonna mess with?
Well then, sir, I don't know.
Remember divs just group things now. Because notice that I put in these, set up these pairs of divs here, and you see no difference on the page because they're invisible. Only if I added some style into them, you would see, you know, like for example, if I was to go, this is not a part of the test, okay? But I'm just reminding you that these things they are active even though you don't see them. But if you want to see them, you could put styling on them. So let's style the universal divs because they don't have any class names. Let's say background green. Let's do it that way. Oh, I need to get a height. Height. Let me see. 200 px. Width 200 px. Yeah, I know that looks kind of messy there because remember it's styling all the divs there, right? But I'm just trying to just show you that remember that divs do exist. It's just that because there's no background color on them, why you're not seeing it doesn't look like they're doing anything. All right, but leave that alone for now because we're not really trying to see the divs. That's the point of here is just to group things. But the reason why we're grouping these is because we want to manage the alignment with the divs, not the body. Because now anything that I put inside of here, this div will become the parent, not the body. Okay? We don't want to trouble the body styling if we're not really concerned with the body. Anyways, enough of that said. Let me go ahead and just put the first image and text inside this first div here. All right. It might seem like an unnecessary step, but you always want to group elements that are related. No, this doesn't look so neat and tidy, but it's inside that first div there, right? Let me see if I can just push this over a little bit. White space is really ignored by the code pen or any code editor you'd use, but I don't like to see it sometimes looking too, all over. So let me just shrink up this a little bit. Okay. The second one, I would do the same, and so on, right? The point is that now, when you have all of them inside the divs now, then you can style the div instead of the body. So let me just put the rest of them inside there. So the second one would be here. So let me make some space in there, put it inside there. So notice I did get the example from the test to work with just the body. So those of you who came earlier saw that I did it without using any divs, right? So you could work without any divs, but you don't want to design your web pages that way because your elements, if you don't group them now, later on when you want to work with them, you're going to have to, it's better you put in the divs while you type in the code the first time. It saves time, then you have to go back in another time, right? So, but you see that I was able to do it with the body alone without using any divs. So you can get the achieved look, but it's not about looks, It's about what is in the code. Am I making sense, Alison?
Yes, sir.
Why am I making sense?
Yeah, because depending on, well, when you said what in the code, you want to make sure that an apple is an apple and not a cherry.
Okay, not sure what exactly you're talking about there, but it sounds pretty neat though. I'll tell you that much. You sound very mysterious a while ago. The thing is, Alison, let me put it in a way you might understand, another way you might understand, right? Two people can have a car, right? The same type of car, right? Same color and everything, right?
Yes,
but one car broke down on the road. They look the same way they were, but let us say two Pro Box then, right? Two of them white. Look the same way and have no scratch on it, but one of them don't have a good engine under the hood, but you can't see the engine. One of them broke down on the road, the other one working and driving, right? So on the outside, it looks like how it's supposed to look, but it's not running efficiently, okay?
Okay.
So somebody could have gotten the test I gave and say, oh, I must make something that look like that, and then do it, and it look exactly like how the test result look. But when you look in the code not efficient because later on if you wanted to do things with that now, it would have taken more time to adjust it and fix up things. Okay. So having said that now, how do we now get this div arrangement now to be styled as it was before? So this is where we're going to apply the styling to a particular div here. And which div we want to style here with the viewport 50 and border 20 solid red and display flex. Which one of the divs we want to style that way?
The big one, the parent,
Which is,
the fourth one.
but guess what happened now? How do we, if we style a div, all divs are going to change because all of them named divs. So how do we single out this one?
Number them, or put something different.
Not numbering Cara. Anybody want to help her? How do we identify something? What's one of the ways we identify something? All right, everybody's sleeping on me. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Now I call mine mean, but you could call yours anything. You could call it SpongeBob. It doesn't really matter. All right, let me show. Let me prove it to you. SpongeBob. All right. And when we go up to the div, so this is where so you put the dot. Oh, sorry, I left out the word class. My bad. I'm moving too fast. No, I did put the word class. Sorry, I thought I didn't. All right, so you put dot, and then because it names SpongeBob, you have to use the name SpongeBob as you spell it there. SpongeBob. See there? Where the pineapple gone?
Sir, there's a big old space in the thing.
Oh, okay. It was a keyboard error. I just wanted to know what was going on because I know the other images are showing why this one don't show. So, right. Okay. So it don't matter what you call a div as long as you identify the div, the proper div, which is the parent div. Okay. Anybody still confused? You see, it looks just as how I had it before when I only was styling the body. If you replay the recording, I guess it will make sense, right? But for those of you who might have forgotten, but those of you who remember, do you see that I achieved the same result? But this time I made a parent div to take away from the body. This time, you see that? Mm, mm, not answering me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said yes.
Okay. All right. Now, let's just look at a few other things that you can do with FlexBox. Because, the real thing about this, you see, I was hoping that persons were practicing with things like the divs, practicing with the embedded styling, which is what we have here, where the styling is in the head area and not in the elements directly, which is inline. I was hoping you were practicing those methods because the real purpose of this test was to introduce you more concretely to using the FlexBox. Anyway, since we're here now and we have solved the test, let's look at a few more things that we could do, for example, because I'm sure that Flexbox is pretty interesting. Sorry, let me keep that there.
But
You
sir,
can.
how you get yours not to have the hyperlink thing? Because yours is just black and just a word.
What are you talking about? Black and just a word.
The word pineapple, yours is black and it isn't underlined.
Oh, you seen it as black? I'm seeing it as a link on my screen. Oh, maybe I don't know why it's lingering as a link. Well, I haven't put it inside. I haven't put it inside the anchor tag thing. But that's fine. That's not really our major challenge right now because those links. All right, so just leave that alone for now. You can do flex direction Sorry, I didn't spell that right. Everybody see what I did a while ago?
Oh, it flip it.
You remember which one was first?
The pineapple.
All right. So you can do things like this. You can change the direction of elements using the Flexbox. Pretty handy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, lots of stuff you can do. If you wanted to get it back as a column, we could also do that. So let me go here and type column. All right. Of course, it's not going to stay inside of the border, but we expect that might have happened. Okay. All right. So and it does that without me having to do a whole heap of gymnastics. To do that other ways where we flip around things, the amount of gymnastics in code would have to be put in with pixel. Remember we were pushing the pixels around for the color divs, the 4 color div boxes. Remember that exercise? Yeah. So, but we don't have to do all those pixel manipulations with Flexbox because it has all these neat features in it. So that's what I really wanted to get to appreciate, that Flexbox is really how you're gonna use to display stuff. All right. Want to do something else though before we wrap up because I wanted you guys to review this video. Okay. Okay. Now each of these divs, they themselves can have different characteristics. But we didn't name them. So let's give this one a name, for example. Class equal, let's call it child1. All right, just to make it easy. All right, we're gonna do some stuff to child1 specifically now. So dot and child1. What are some stuff we can do here now? Let me see, background blue, height 30px, width 30px. What else we can do here? What else can we do? Let me see here. Oh, sorry.
Let's see. Yeah.
I was just thinking about what I wanted to do to it and not paying attention to the words. All right, we're having the mango clash in there. We probably didn't want that to happen. All right, let me go and use border instead. Because I wanted to show you that each div has its own property. That's what I'm basically going to show you. Let me give it 10 pixels, solid green. Give it that. All right, it's kind of doing some weird actions here. Here it's not exactly something that we're aiming for, because in fact this div here is being aligned inside of the parent div. But what I'm just trying to show you here is that, okay, probably the best thing I should have done here then is deactivate this styling here, which let me just take off one of the letters here, and that will deactivate it. Okay, all of these things are still in a kind of what should I say now? Let me just change this here. Sorry. Let me not use pixels. 50 VH. All right. 50 WH. All right, so all right, so you can see that div there now. Maybe 50 is too much. Let me put it at 25.
So what double H stand for?
That's for the width.
Oh,
All right. Um, sorry, it
20.
should be VW. Sorry, VW.
Ooh.
Yeah, my bad. It's view height, view width. That's how I call it. You know, it's technically viewport, but viewport not really sound. All right, so there it is, more neatly around the pineapple. All right, so let me add back the SpongeBob, see if we have the, and that's what I'm saying about playing around with the code is really how you see things work. Okay, great. So now we got so all right. So you see what is happening here? So
Mm-hmm.
the red border belongs to which one now? The parent,
The
right?
parent.
All right, let me not call it SpongeBob so that it might mean more, it might be more instructive. Let me call it parent, okay? You can call it anything. You don't have to call it parent, obviously, because we had it named SpongeBob before. But let me call it parent so that you can see the relationship more graphically depicted, okay? But I'm just trying to show you that each div can have a styling of its own and kind of you can align the things up and down, justify whatever you want. Or for example, that pineapple there, if I was to go here, the pineapple is in child one, right? So I could have called
Yes,
it
sir.
pineapple. In fact, probably the thing that would be more instructive instead of calling it child would be to call it pineapple, since this div controls pineapple. But we can name it whatever we want as long as the name is consistent. But I'm just trying to show you that how you use your code help you to understand what's going on. So if I call it pineapple, we know exactly is what bundle of code is being affected. All right, so um, display. So you can activate a flex for it as well. Justify dash, sorry, dash content. What could I use for this now? Mm, center. It kind of moved a little bit. I don't know if you notice it. You notice that?
So
It.
take it off and do.
I'm gonna take it off and you look again. See the
Oh, the
difference?
word. Yes, sir.
Everybody see the difference? Wonder if they must sleep on me. Hello, somebody. No, can at least type yes if you don't want to talk, you know. Let them go and sleep. All right, no problem. So who wants to pay attention? We'll get it. Right, but so you said that even inside of the pineapple div itself, I can align it separately from the parent div. Oh, you good, Alison. All right, and you're good, Tony. Wonderful. All right. So the reason why I went to this extra. Okay, let's do the mango. You want to do the mango now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me ask Alison, let's do the mango styling differently. What would we do? The mango alignment and everything. Yeah, sometime before Easter. Alison asleep on me, man. All right. Who else we have in the class still? Nisha, what do we do to align the mango in its own space? Nisha just typed yes a while ago, so what am I asleep on, you know? All right, a joking thing named upon. All right. Who else now? Who else is here? Tony? There's a six of us here, so I kind of run out of names now. Tony Ann?
Sir.
Go ahead, Cara. How do we orient the mango in its own space?
Sir, you're going to do
First step.
the first step is scroll up.
Okay. How far up I must go?
Just the
Name the
wanted.
Hmm?
name the leaf
Just
for the mango.
yes. So you're going. You need to type like a dot mango
Why
for
am
the
why am
leaf.
I typing a dot mango? I'm
To
just asking.
single
Hmm?
out, to
Your name
single out
the
that
div.
specific.
Hmm?
Your name in the div with the mango.
Mm-hmm.
Which div am I naming?
The
Just like
mango.
The mango div.
the
All right, I'll work with mango div. Yeah, that's the first thing you should do. You can't style something and you don't name it. So the first thing you must do is name it first. Give it a
Yes, sir.
class name, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's. I mean, you could style it first, but that's really doing it backwards, really. So we can call it mango. Okay. Now we can use a class. We're good to go to use a class. We pretty much might want to do the same thing as pineapple. So I'm just
As
gonna
yes.
copy. I'm just gonna copy pineapple's code. We might make a few changes just to make it stand out, but it's pretty much we're gonna do the same thing. So to save typing, I'm just gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna change the name. Having it twice won't do anything to the code because it's doing this exact same thing. So um, mango. What do we expect to have happen?
The green going go
Yeah,
well.
we don't want. So let's use a different color.
So that border look weird.
Yeah, all kind of weird things are gonna happen
Oh,
because we're
okay.
not really we're not really doing something that's really practical in nature.
Oh,
Let me type blue.
that's good.
I'm also going to show that you can have different types of borders, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you play around with things, you'll find out all these stuff, right? But I'm just doing that just purposely to show that it's not just solid borders alone you can have. So you can change the color and you can change the type of border. Anyhow, let me look at something in this mango thing here. Um,
question, sir.
yeah.
Yes, you're saying that we should play around with the images and so on. But
Mm-hmm.
what if you don't know what you're doing or you're going to play around?
Actually, in playing around with it is what it will help you to see what happens. For example, let us say I gave you this code as something to look at, right? So you never typed this yourself. I gave this to you, and you didn't know
Mm-hmm.
nothing about it. Let's just assume that. Say you go in
Right.
here. Say you go in here and you're playing around with it, right? You say, what would happen if I change this from red to black? So you delete it and you type black. Remember, you don't know what you're doing, you're just changing around stuff. Then you realize that, oh, when I change that word there, that color word there, it affects the color of the border around everything in this thing called parent. Then you might say, what is this thing called parent? And you look, remember, you're using your eyes now, you're looking, you're just looking, you don't know anything. So you go down and say, okay, what this thing parent is where what this thing parent is doing, and you look and you see that okay, down here you see parent again. Then you say, oh, so this is the parent that is affecting, and then you say, okay, but you see it start here. Where does it end? And when you go down, you see that there's a div here. There's an end, a closing div. There's a open one there. There's a closing one there. Open one there. A closing one. There's a closing one here. And you might notice that you don't see anything after that. So you might say to yourself, so hold on there a little bit. Every div have a closing div. It look like they come in pairs. That's what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So that must mean that this parent here is everything because the border go around everything. Then you see this thing called pineapple up here. You don't know what the heck is all these border height and VH and VW. You don't know what this is. But you know there's something named pineapple. And you see that it's green. And when you go down here, you see that you have something that was named pineapple here in a class. And the word pineapple is there and then a div close. So you say, oh, that means that the picture here come from here, which I'm seeing here. The word pineapple is here as I see it here. And then the border goes around all of this thing here that name pineapple. Then you do the same thing for mango. You go on mango and you say, okay, you see something called dash blue. It must be this thing over here, right?
Yeah.
And then also playing around. You say, okay, this number is 10. What if I change it to say 100? You don't even know what you're doing. You're just changing the number. You put it 100. What happened? Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you start. So by playing around, you see what affects what. Then you might say, okay, 100 too big. Let me put that 10. And then you see it happen like that, right? Or maybe you say,
Yes.
maybe you say to yourself, I wonder if there's something called dotted. We could try a look and assume it. Yeah, there's actually a dotted one, right? Then now, let us say that you say,
Okay.
okay, what is this VH and VW thing? Let me see if I can fool around with it. I'm gonna change this to 5. Remember, you don't know what it means, you're just playing around. You change it to 5 and it shrink up the thing. Let's put it at 50. All right. But then and then again you say to yourself, okay, but if when I type dotted, the mango thing, or let us say assume I gave it this way with a dot in it. What if I put dotted where the pineapple have solid? Would it be also dotted? So you take out this now and you put it in and see what would happen. Okay.
Mm.
Waiting for it to update.
It's dotted.
Oh, it's dotted. Oh.
Yeah.
So you get what I mean now? But when I say play around,
Okay, sir.
is experimenting is actually how you gain knowledge. That's actually and because you're experimenting, you'll never forget it. That's why when I tell you guys to play around, the reason why, because when I tell you something, I say do this, do that, memorize that. You might have to go through it and read it a couple times, but when you play around with something, you never forget it because it's something that you did with your own brain. You understand?
Okay.
You're right. And same thing now. If I went here and I said, okay, what this thing called space evenly do? Let me take it out. So you can start by taking things out. That might be the first way you experiment. And you see everything bunch up together. When you take out the space evenly, all the fruits bunch up together. So you realize what purpose that served. And so on and so forth, right? Okay. Now,
Okay.
here's how the knowledge builds up to what this test does and why it would have been so easy for you. When you had the lessons that had to do with the div, you would have been practicing those and experimenting with those, playing with that. When you had the example with the viewport, let me see if I can do a search and find out which day that lesson was on. If you want to search a Skype, you can just press Control F. On the mobile phone, I think there's a search thing that you can use. Wait, let me do it on my phone. Sorry, 1 second there. I want to keep the screen exactly as it is there. I know we've gone over our usual hour for thing, but just bear with me. I too want to also exit. Let me see here. Where's the search feature on the phone? There should be a way to get it. There should be a way to get it. Looking on the phone to see how you search the group. 1 second there. There should be a way you can do it with Anyway, I might have to do it using the computer instead. Sorry there. Let me just so I'm searching it, do display. I'm gonna find it. Just give me a second. I'm gonna tell you which when it was and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, yeah, it was when we were doing the code with the caret. Remember that code? I'm gonna give you back that code. Just a second here. And that's when we were centering images for the first time. Actually, you should remember that because she was the main student we were working with on that class as an example. Remember that, Ashley? Actually, gonna fear a bit too. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna paste that code here. You remember that that class, Allison? Here's the code from that class when we were centering the image, the carrot image, and it was kind of tricky for persons. Ashley did figure it out, but she used text align as a way to do it. But that's when I introduced the idea that Flexbox is actually the best way to get things aligned. And you see what we use here? We use justify, content, and what? Justify, content, and what?
The border.
Center. No, justify, content, and center.
Oh, center, yeah.
Right. You can see it there. So and that caused the carrot image to be centered. So so many of you might not have realized that this would have come in critical for the test because whenever I give you a lesson, you always have to practice the code. The fact that I introduce you here to the Flexbox from this class, you should have said to yourself, okay, I need to know, and remember how we centered the carrot? The carrot was placed where? Inside a div. You see that?
Yeah.
Right. It was placed inside a div. Okay, so, and that's why I'm saying, and this was a class from some time back. That's why I'm saying every day you get a lesson. If you don't practice and play around with it, it going to come around to haunt you later because you need to master it. It might look simple and say, oh, it's a one thing, or it is a center and a carrot. Look at the code that you get there. You got a new type of code. You didn't learn to center anything before that. And because it's new to you, you have to practice it. What is this display thing? Let me keep typing up code and just putting it in and just getting used to it, right? At the very least, you'll remember it, that it does something. You might not understand it, but you know that it's responsible for aligning. So you might not know why you type all these words, but you know that it will get things centered. Because the first thing you do is you learn how to do things and you learn to understand it later. I have avoided giving you a lot of notes in terms of writing, and when you do some of the other courses, the amount of information they give you about what this mean and what that mean, and you can get so bogged down and stressed out, you don't even remember how to do the thing. I focus on you learning how to do the thing, and then after that you learn what it mean and what it name. You get me? Because if you know that the flexbox is a method of aligning elements on a page and blah blah blah, and you don't know how to align it, what sense that make? You just need to know that when I'm centering something, I remember I have something that when name this display flex, I have to type it. You don't even know why you have to type that, but you just know that when you do it, it centers things. When you put justify content after that, after you activate the display flex. You hearing what I'm saying, Nisha?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's focus on knowing how to do things before you understand how the things work. Right?
It's a bit
That's really.
tricky.
Hmm?
It's a bit tricky, though, sir.
Yeah,
Doing it
but
before you understand.
but it's tricky. But guess what? If you drive a car, you can drive a car and you don't understand nothing about how engine work, True or false?
True.
Exactly. So you going to wait until you understand how engine work and how to pull up an engine before you drive? No.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you see all them display flex and all them something. You wonder what all them something you for. All you need
Yes,
to
I
know
was
is that.
wondering, sir. Honestly, I was wondering what are they
Right,
for?
right. Trust me. You see as you use it, one of these days you just go and click in in your mind and say, oh, this display flex is actually a mechanism that orients elements on a page. After a while, it will actually it's something that's just click in your brain one day. But even before that, you will still at least be able to use it. Because trust me, if I was to actually go through and give all the explanations for all the elements and things as to what them name and what they mean, we're at 2 weeks now, and I'll know we wouldn't reach anywhere. The amount of reading you would be doing and you can't make squat. At least now you can do a lot of things. It might not look neat and pretty, but you can put the images on, you can make your links and all of that, right? Yeah. Oh, by the way, in the case of what Cara did here, she made the pictures into the links, and it's the words are supposed to be in the links. So let me show you why that happens. The reason why that happens is because she put the images inside the anchor tag. Okay. So the reason why the pineapple looks black, you said, right? That's what you were saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Why it's not like linked is because it is outside the tag, but the image is inside. So in this case now, what I took out of here? I took out something out of this, you know. What did I take out of that again?
The website link.
Oh crap, I can't remember what it was again. All right, let me just put something here like google.com. I just want something to be in there that it will link to. All right. It's not really Google we're going to, but you get the point.
Okay.
All right, let me just make sure that it registers. So it changes when I point on the image, but it's supposed to change when I go over the text. Okay, so as I was saying before, because it is let me just move this. So it's simply a matter of moving the image out of the link. I'm gonna actually put it above above the link text. Okay. Right. Okay, good. Oh, I did so much styling that the things are all over the place. Oh boy, what do I need to change to get back things the way they used to be?
Leave that thing.
Now, let me take out all these styling for the mango. Let me just deactivate it. Check off that. Check off that. Okay. All right, yeah, good. Okay, so all right, good. So is it changed from black now?
No.
Mine is still showing purple on my screen. That's why I'm asking. For some reason, it won't update the view on my screen. Okay, so the pineapple now.
It's still showing purple.
All right, so the pineapple now. Oh, damn, sorry. I need to really get this a different thing there. I can't use this keyboard. I'm gonna go use that thing there. 1 second. Yeah. I know some of these guys probably fall asleep because we don't go so long or so late, and they're very quiet. But it's fine. I switch over to this keyboard here. Okay, good. We're back. All right, where were we now? Okay, we were putting the URL. So we use google.com. All right, so we're gonna close off this here. That's the end of the address, and we have the pineapple there, and then we want to close off with the anchor tag. We're not going to do anything else after this. This will be the last thing we're doing. I think we've gotten enough practice out of this now. All right, so the pineapple word itself now will be a link, okay? All right, so let me save this code here. It's pretty much not different from what the actual final solution would have been, but in case anybody wants it, oh no, I'll just put the code pen for it. Let me just click save, and I'm giving the code pen in case you also want to see. It's pretty much the same as the actual solution, but we did a little bit of modification. So just in case for whatever reason anybody wants it, I'm going to provide it. So here you go. All right, and that's all. So the recording will be made available so you can review this if you need this class if you need to. All right, that's pretty much it for now. So I don't think we're going to even take any other questions. All right. Okay, everybody.
Yes, sir.
All right, and nobody doesn't seem to actually have any questions as well, so that's probably works out. Right. So okay, great.